It's November 1st, there's about 60 days left in the year, and I think that this time for everyone causes a lot of reflection of, okay, what did I do this year? Did I accomplish what I want to accomplish? And inevitably there's things that we didn't, or a lot that we didn't, and then we're like, okay, I have to either figure it out quickly and make sure that this year ends on a good note, or I'm just going to put everything off and wait until 2024 because maybe 2023 isn't my year. Even though there is 60 days left in the year and it feels like a short amount of time, I truly believe that 2023 can still be your year. We're going to be covering a few different things that you can do in order to make sure that 2023 is still your year and you end it on a good note and a note that you're proud of. So for those that are new here, my name is Simone Saunders. I'm a licensed therapist and social worker in Calgary, Alberta. This channel is all about wellness, lifestyle, mental health, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button and let's get started. There is an overwhelming amount of information about health, wellness, self-care, changing your life, all of these different things that it can feel so overwhelming, overstimulating, and it can feel like you're drowning almost in all of this information, and it can make you feel frozen of like, okay, what do I do? I have all of this information, but I don't actually know what to do with it. So I think it's important to break it all down so that we can sort of wade through the mess, wade through all of the excess information to find things that are just applicable for you. I want to split this into two parts. So one is sort of the way that we think about things, and the second is actually what we're doing. So in terms of the way that we think about things, I think it's important to recognize that you can change whenever you feel like it. It doesn't have to be January 1st, the beginning of the year. It doesn't have to be on your birthday, on an anniversary, whenever it is. You can decide tomorrow, next week, February 5th, that you want something to be different in your life, and it's okay to change and evolve and grow. I think that there's so much pressure put on us by society around a lot of these dates of like, okay, get your shit together. And I think a big part of how we think about things is understanding, where do I get stuck? What is typically the barrier for me in terms of reaching that goal, talking to that person, applying for that job, starting the podcast, whatever it might be? What is typically the barrier? More often than not, that barrier has to do with some sort of vulnerability. So if it comes to, I want to be better with my finances this year, that vulnerability might come in when it comes time to actually look at your bank account. If it's about, I want to make new friends this year, that vulnerability might be, okay, I actually have to put myself out there. If it's about starting a podcast, starting a business, starting a social media page, whatever it might be, starting a new venture, that vulnerability comes in where I actually have to put myself out there and be seen trying. Understanding what makes us feel really vulnerable and hesitant to put ourselves out there, whether that's actually physically putting ourselves out there or putting ourselves out there in another way, it's really important to understand where that barrier comes in and understand that it's okay to be scared. That being scared doesn't mean that you shouldn't do something. A lot of times our mindset is, I have to wait until I'm perfect at this, until I look a certain way, until I feel a certain way, until whatever it might be, until I can do this thing. Because then it'll be more acceptable for me to look at my bank account. Then people will accept me more if I'm trying to make new friends. Then people won't laugh at me if I start a new venture. And a big thing to realize about that vulnerability and that fear that comes up is that's trying to keep you safe. That part of you is trying to say like, oh, we haven't done this before and it feels really scary. We know what it feels like over here. We don't know what it feels like over here, so let's just stay over here. And I think it's easy for us to subconsciously just say like, yeah, okay, I'll do it next week. I'll do it next month. I'll do it next year. I'll do it January 1st. Another aspect of the way that we think about things might be that it's difficult for us to accept that a lot of things might need to change in order for us to be where we want to be. So that could look like maybe you've outgrown some of your relationships. Maybe you've outgrown certain jobs. Maybe you've outgrown certain environments. And it's difficult for you to make certain steps knowing what you will have to inevitably grieve at some point. I think one of the biggest things is being able to acknowledge all of those pieces, the fear, the vulnerability, the anxiety, all of the things that come with making a different step in your life. So what if I'm not good enough? What if this doesn't work? What if these people don't like me? Another part of the way that we think about things can be us not feeling that we deserve certain things. So if you don't feel like you deserve certain opportunities, certain relationships, certain experiences, that in itself can create a barrier for us to even try new things. Because if I don't feel like I deserve something, then why would I try it? So now transitioning to, okay, what do I do about all of this now? I think number one is acknowledging that you deserve to take up space in your own life. And number two, you deserve to be taken care of, especially by yourself. Taking care of yourself can look so many different ways. That can look like financially, physically, psychologically, spiritually, relationally. And when you acknowledge that you deserve to take up space and you deserve to be cared for, even in the times where you mess up, even in the times where you don't feel like you actually deserve it, you deserve it especially during those times, it becomes a lot easier to sit with the apprehension and the fear that comes along with, okay, I want to achieve this goal, I want to start this new experience, start this new venture, whatever it might be. Number 2 is a bit of a homework assignment, but I want you to get a piece of paper and list out all of those domains in your life. So physical, psychological, spiritual, financial, relational, and reflect on how those areas feel in your life right now. Does it feel good, or does it feel like it needs some nurturing? And I think that that can give you a sense of like, okay, where do I feel like I need to focus my attention? But given those different domains, let's say financially, you could use a little bit more nurturing in that area. What can you do in order to start nurturing yourself? And when I say start, I don't mean let's create this massive budget that's super restrictive and from now until the end of the year, I'm not going to spend anything. I mean, from the very get-go, what can you do to start? And that might look like just looking at your bank account. If you're thinking about the relational domain, that might look like just searching up where you can make new friends or meet new people. That might mean thinking about having tough conversations. For your physical health, that might look like reflecting on how your body feels based on the way that you eat and your movement or lack of movement. That doesn't necessarily mean an action right now. I think a lot of us can get in these all or nothing spaces of, okay, if I'm going to focus on this thing, then I have to focus on it 110%. That means I have to challenge myself to go for a walk every single day, or go to the gym every single day, or eat really healthy every single day. And I want to challenge that narrative and say the most sustainable thing is whatever you can handle at this time. So if you can only handle just looking at your bank account, or just looking up places to go or things that you can experience, or thinking about tough conversations, whatever that might look like, that's where you start. So if you feel like, okay, I have all of this stuff down and I want to take it a step further, my favorite thing is habit stacking, because I think it plays on the things you're already doing really well in your life. For example, if you're wanting to incorporate more physical activity into your life, and you're someone who maybe the first 20-30 minutes of your day you typically spend on your phone, my suggestion in terms of habit stacking would be, okay, still spend that 20-30 minutes on your phone, but do it outside. So if you're walking and you're spending 20-30 minutes on your phone, or if you just get up, go outside, and whether it's on your balcony or you sit in the park or whatever it is, and you do your scrolling, eventually at some point it's going to get easier to actually go and walk or do something. If you've been wanting to research a new idea for a hobby or a business venture or a career switch or whatever it might be, then choose times where you are already on your computer, where you're already sort of in the mode of doing research. So that could be like, okay, I'm going to go to a cafe and have my favorite drink or make a day out of it, and then I'm going to research some of these things. Or before I leave work today, I'm going to research some of these things on my phone, and that way I can put everything at rest by the time I come home. If you're wanting to start journaling in the morning, and again, maybe you spend 20-30 minutes on your phone in the morning, then maybe cut that down to 25 minutes and start by saying, okay, I'm going to journal quickly for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to grab my phone, and then I'm going to do my scrolling. Editor's note. So we want to create the most supportive environment for us to thrive, for us to actually complete the goal, take part in the habit, whatever it might be. So don't deprive yourself of a bunch of different things just so you can complete something. Create a supportive environment. What would help you feel cared for enough to do X, Y, and Z? Maybe if the goal is I want to have a cleaner space, then what do you need to do in order to create that for yourself? Maybe that looks like FaceTiming a friend. Maybe that looks like watching your favorite show while you clean. Maybe that looks like rewarding yourself after until it becomes a habit, or even after it becomes a habit. So think of the things that you currently do on a day-to-day basis where you can add a certain activity, a part of a certain habit, and you can add it incrementally. Allowing yourself to build these habits gradually over time increases your ability to actually follow through on these goals and then subsequently feel a lot better about it. One of the last pieces is I think it's important to celebrate the things that you've already done. So I know that it can feel like, okay, this entire year I haven't really done anything, but I know that's not true. So really reflect on this entire year so far and the things that you're proud of, the things that you feel like you did well. Even if that was just I got up and got out of bed, I consistently showered, I consistently brushed my teeth, I consistently went to therapy, or I consistently went outside. Whatever it might be, I know that there's something throughout the last year that you can say like, okay, this is something that I did consistently. This is something that I could be proud of. Because it's really easy to get down on ourselves. It's really easy to criticize ourselves and critique ourselves for every little thing that we're not doing, but not celebrate ourselves for the things that we actually did do. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments. I would love to know your reflections, the things that you're working towards, the small changes that you can make every day or every week or every month in order to add up to something that is big and life-changing. So let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.